Hello there folks, and how is it going? And welcome back to another video. Look where we are, still in Spain. We are in a town called, well, I suppose it's more than a town really, isn't it? It's like a small little city, and it's called Ronda, and it has this one outstanding feature to it that's going to be wonderful. The rain has been very on and off today, so we are hoping that the weather forecast is correct and that come sunset time we will get a break in the clouds and it will hopefully do its magic. But what we're going to do is two things. We have parked just in some random kind of street that's very camper van alley of the town, but wow, what a backdrop we find ourselves in. One thing that we want to do in today's video is to put to test the Google Pixel. I have never really used this in terms of any of the videos that we make here on the channel, and I wanted to try and use this today. So all of the B-roll you're essentially going to be seeing from this week's video is all going to be taken with this one, and Orla has the same one, and we're going to do that together. And that way then, because both of us won't have to take out the cameras and be all like, "Wee." That's way too hipster for us. But so B-roll on the Google, and then we are going to make our way to this wonderful, wonderful town and explore and have a look to see what it has to offer. Hopefully find some pastry along the way as well. So join us as we wander the streets of Ronda and then ultimately reach our destination and keep our fingers and toes crossed for a good sunset and some beautiful, beautiful light. Let's get going. So folks, that was an absolute mad panic. We were all leisurely strolling around town. Yay, this is all lovely. It's a beautiful, beautiful town. And then when we got to the staircase to get to the viewpoint, it was closed. So Thomas Heaton is right. It's still there, the gates, and it's closed. So, but we managed to scramble and Google a car park, which we found right now, which is ultimately another spot that I had marked on Google Maps to come to anyway. So we had to run back to the car and then just drive down this crazy steep road and get to this car park that we're at now. But as it stands now, we just have to go up this small little hill and get to the viewpoint of this tremendous looking archway. And as we go, obviously we'll shoot some fancy nice B-roll for you, and hopefully there's a break in the clouds, because it is 6:30 and we have about 45 minutes until the sun sets. So if there is a break in the clouds, it would be perfect, because it will illuminate all of this lovely cliff edge and give us the light that we're after. So, but let's get out of the car, head up the little hill and see what we can see. Yeah. So Orla went on a little scouting mission while we were waiting to have a look at the horizon line, and it doesn't seem like there's going to be too much of a break in the clouds for any of that wonderful direct light that we could be looking for. But you never know, there's still 10 minutes before the sun sets, and then failing that, what we can do then is just wait for the blue hour and hope. I have no idea if the bridge is lit up in the evening time, but we shall wait and see, and it could potentially have still some blue hour potential for us to photograph. Right now though, I realized that I left my screw-in thing in the car for the filters, so I'm holding this neutral density, the graduated filter in front of the lens to try and keep the highlights in check for some long exposures that I'm playing around with. If any of those turn out well, then I'll pop them up on the screen for you now, and we will walk through classic ASMR photography lab style. But for now, we shall wait and see what happens. Welcome, friends, to the ASMR photography studio, and welcome to the Bridge of Ronda. What an absolutely incredible sight to behold this place is. A real marvel of engineering and such a beautiful, beautiful structure. This is the result of my long exposure-y kind of test. While I'm super happy with what happened in the sky, unfortunately, because there's no real direct light as I was hoping for hitting this cliff face, the image overall just kind of seems flat. I did second guess myself about whether to include this image in the video, but again, like I've mentioned previously, you gotta take the bad with the good sometimes. On a happy note though, this composition will come back up later. You go. I'm standing there like the cat with the tongue out, you know. So folks, I have a question for everybody here to start a conversation in the comments below in relation to kind of like Instagram popular spots for people to come and take photographs. And I'd be very curious to know your thoughts in relation to you setting up a tripod in a position like this. So where I am right now is a very good position to like come here to take a photograph of this area. And for me, I'm in the camp of kind of saying, yep, I'm here, I got here, I pushed myself to get here as soon as I could to find this spot and to take the photograph that I came here to ultimately take. I mean, realistically, people maybe get to visit these kinds of places once or twice in a lifetime, if ever. Now, that being said, I'd be very conscientious if, say, another person came with a tripod and said, do you mind if I set up my tripod here? I'd be like, 100%, let's do it. There's plenty of wall here for us to share, and I'm more than happy to share. Or if a couple wanted to get a selfie, I'd be more than happy to move out of the way and let them do that. But like I say, for me, I'm kind of in the mindset of people don't necessarily mind standing in front of my camera when I'm here taking photographs, so I don't necessarily mind standing in front of their phones while I'm here to take photographs, if that makes sense. But I'd be very curious to hear your thoughts in below, so let's start a conversation about that. So brilliant. Look, you can see, oh, well, I hope you can see there's some lights now beginning to come on the bridge. So we may still yet win out for a nice blue hour shot of this image. Unfortunately, we didn't get any direct light on the bridge or the cliffs. So let's wait it out and see what magic we can muster. When it comes to taking images at blue hour in this kind of situation, the key thing really, at least for me and my experience from what I have found, is just not to move the camera. I know it may be tempting to kind of play around with different compositions and things like that, which is always fun, but blue hour images have this like super razor thin of like when the ambient light, i.e. that orange glow you see in these lamps that are on the bridge, and then obviously the blue in the night sky. It's a razor thin balance between when they are in harmony essentially, and it's ultimately best just to keep the same composition and fire off different pictures throughout, you know, every minute or so, just to say, if you've got loads of room on your memory card, you might as well. For me anyway, like I say, in my experience, it's always best just to keep the same composition. Now, the composition that I have is really nice. It's just a kind of a square looking right at the bridge and the waterfall, and then obviously with the sky. And I am trying my best to introduce a bit of motion into the cloud, but I don't know, it might just turn into a bit of a blobby kind of mess because it's just it's too dense. There's not a lot of kind of separation in the clouds, but we're trying and we're having a great time doing it still. So let's fire away and let's see if we can find that nice happy balance. I am absolutely thrilled with how this image turned out. I love photographing these kinds of images, capturing that happy balance, as I mentioned, of ambient light and artificial light is just such a wonderful, wonderful exercise in patience, timing, and ultimately post-production. I really love the punchy contrast of the orange that's illuminating the bridge, and obviously then that wonderful blue in the sky. And for me, overall compositionally, I love this picture and I am so happy with how it all turned out. It's a really wonderful scene to behold, and I absolutely recommend, if you are in the area, to stop by and try your hand at photographing this bridge, because it is absolutely worth it. Here is that same composition from the first image, albeit in a deeper part of the blue hour. You'll notice again, like I mentioned previously, that balance is ever so slightly thrown because it's just dark. But that's one thing that I really love about this final image. Just deep blacks and beautiful punchy contrast of the orange and the blue, just silhouetted then with that wonderful cliff face. Super happy that I decided to take this image and hope for the best. And again, a really fantastic example of just waiting and just enjoying being out, because yielding results like this, for me anyway, is a real plus to why I get out and photograph in the way that I do. I really love this image, and of course the previous one. Both images, I feel, are a very strong representation, at least in my opinion, in what blue hour photography can ultimately give you. So we impromptually decided to stay an extra night in this beautiful place, and it's one of the benefits of having a camper van and being able to just decide to stay, which we did. Now, I didn't do any kind of like vlogging or talking to the camera on the second day. We just wanted to be tourists, but nonetheless, where we had parked the van, we decided to come back to, and on that journey back to the car park, we came across this absolutely spectacular view of Ronda, and the sky just opened up with these beautiful beams of light, almost painting the scene for me as the day unfolded. I ultimately decided to then stay and photograph again, hoping to get a really nice bit of kind of sunset color in the sky, which again didn't materialize, but decided to wait it out even more and capture a second blue hour image of Ronda, albeit then from this different perspective. And I am thrilled with how these images turned out, and the smattering of landscapes in there as well. Just the mountains around this town are just so spectacular, and when they catch the light in the way that they did for us this evening, it all just came together so beautiful. I am thrilled we decided to stay this extra night, and so happy at the opportunity to take these images and experience this town for a full second day as just a normal tourist. Now, albeit the little outro that you're about to see, I filmed the night before, so it's slightly bit out of context, but sure, look, such is the way of this tubes of you videoing. But nonetheless, I am absolutely happy with how all these images turned out. Well, folks, we are back in the car. We didn't get a real chance to close off this video because it started to rain pretty hard, and the trail that you probably seen from earlier on in the video was like very slippy. So if you do go there, be sure to wear proper boots or good walking shoes, as Orla will attest. She was in there as some wonderful Skechers, and it was a bit slippy and sloppy, but we got down in the end and all is well. So anyways, if you liked the video, folks, absolutely hit the like button, and if you do fancy following along for more adventures, then by all means do hit that subscribe button. And as glamorous as it sounds, we are going to spend the night in our first Lidl car park. So yay Lidl for their camper van overnight policy. We're also going to go in and buy stuff, so no worries there. But for now, folks, I will see you all on the next one. Cheers. Take it easy, everybody.